So Disney's being sued over the Muppet Babies. It just goes to show you how low Disney can really go. What's going on, fellow board members? Welcome to the boardroom. I am Moritz, and today we're taking a look at an article from InsideTheMagic.net. Disney sued over the Muppet Babies show. So this is kind of very interesting. I did go over the article before I started this video. A lot going on here, and this goes, back years ago to when they first started developing this reboot of the Muppet Babies, which they probably shouldn't have done. Why would you reboot the Muppet Babies when it was perfect before? And I don't think that you're going to bring it into a modern day era and make it just as good as it was before. You can't recreate that. So anyway, let's dive into the article, guys. Yesterday, writer Jeffrey Scott launched a copyright claim against the Walt Disney Company for their reboot of Muppet Babies. So I think it's interesting that somebody is launching a copyright claim against Disney this time, when usually it's Disney that does the, copyright claiming. Jeffrey Scott is known for writing some of the most beloved childhood television shows, including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Dragon Tales. He's got a whole list, guys. Go check him out. Just Google search him. Chances are there's a show that you watched when you were a kid that this guy had his hands on. I think it's good that he's standing up and sticking it to Disney. I feel like more of that needs to happen. So here we have the details of the lawsuit brought on by Jeffrey Scott against Disney for the Muppet Babies copyright. In 2015, Disney began the early stages of developing the new Muppet Babies show. The October 22nd filing says in early 2016, Disney executives met with Scott at their request, and he presented detailed ideas for the show's updated structure, look, and characters for the new episodes, with the understanding on both sides that if Disney used Scott's idea and produced new episodes, it would pay for Scott's idea and honor the commitment that the Disney predecessors Marvel and Jim Henson had made him. The complaint continues. A Disney executive then emailed Scott asking him to send to Disney his ideas in writing, which Scott did. You guys can already see what's happening here and how Disney is going to take advantage of Jeffrey Scott, or has already taken advantage of Jeffrey Scott, and this is why he is suing Disney. Scott is informed and believes that when Disney executives D'Ambrosia and Sapphire, who names their kids that, solicited Scott's idea for the Muppet Babies reboot, they and their superiors at Disney knew and concealed from Scott that Disney has assembled or was assembling a production team for the reboot, and that they and their superiors had no intention of offering Scott any opportunity to work on the reboot or to pay him for his ideas, which they intended to use without complying with their obligations under the parties' implied agreement, the jury trial seeking filing states. So this is something that Disney does very frequently. They will bring people in and they'll have creative differences, and then they'll kick them out and bring somebody else in, which ultimately just turns whatever show they're working on or whatever movie they're working on into trash. You had Jeffrey Scott, one of the original writers of the Muppet Babies, on board to do a reboot, which possibly would have been good because he's the one that wrote the original. So bringing it into the modern era, this is one thing I think that Disney really fails on. I think a lot of companies fail on is bringing in the original directors, original writers of properties, having a disagreement, and then booting them out there, and then bringing somebody in who knows nothing about the franchise, who knows nothing about how these things work. It's just a terrible way to do things, and I would have loved to see Jeffrey Scott's version of the Muppet Babies in a modern era. In addition to all of this, Scott claims he owns production assets from the original Muppet Babies, which were copyrighted in the 80s. Also, he says that he had a, to quote, long verbal agreement with the Jim Henson Company, which Disney now owns, and they are no longer honoring. That's just despicable to me as a person who's a huge fan of Jim Henson, to not honor what he has laid down before. It's just disrespecting what Jim Henson had built and what Jim Henson intended for the Muppets to be, and everything underneath the Muppets, be it the Dark Crystal, be it Labyrinth. You're just taking it away, Disney. Please, I know you own the Jim Henson Company, Disney, but do me a favor, let them be them. Dark Crystal Age of Resistance was a good example of just letting a studio do what they got to do and make great content. We will just have to wait and see what comes of the allegations in this lawsuit. Disney has not yet released a statement regarding this court filing. Of course not, because I believe this is what Disney's going to do. They're going to go ahead and settle out of court, and they're going to put this behind them, and they're going to move on, because that's what Disney does. They have the money to do it. And I mean, if you're offering Jeffrey Scott a large sum of money as a human being, depending on what that, number is, why wouldn't you take it? So I understand, but I do want to commend Jeffrey Scott for standing up against Disney and filing this suit against them. This was the best option. You know, it was given to Scott. Scott was supposed to do this, and you have somebody else coming in, which, if you ask me, this new Muppet Babies is trash. They tried to introduce a new character in it, which they did in the original. You know, you had Skeeter Scooter. You know, we could break it down, but I'm not going to go into big detail with that. My point being here is I don't think you're going to see much come from this, unfortunately. I would love to see Jeffrey Scott stick it to Disney and, you know, get all the money that he's owed when it comes to this, all the work that he put into it. And I would love to see a Jeffrey Scott, you know, Muppet Babies. Why not? Why not? I mean, he's the original guy who worked on the show. We would get that same thing. I mean, we're talking about techniques that YouTubers are using nowadays that they did back then, splicing in movie scenes with, you know, interacting with the cast of the Muppet Babies. It was just a brilliant show, and it was a big show with imagination, and it helped kids, you know, have an imagination. So anyway, guys, you can see that I'm very passionate about the Muppet stuff, about Jim Henson and all that. So there you have it, everybody. Disney being sued by Jeffrey Scott over the Muppet Babies. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. If you guys want to see Jeffrey Scott come back and do a Muppet Babies, I would love to see that. Hashtag release the Scott cut. Maybe let's get that trending. I don't know. All right, guys, so that is the video. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, guys, make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit that bell for notifications. And as always, make sure you hit that subscription button. It always helps. So we just kind of have to wait and see what happens here. And like I said, I don't think nothing's going to happen. I think they're going to pay Jeffrey Scott out, and then that'll be the end of it. But I'll do my best to try to keep up on this as soon as more information comes out. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I love all of you guys. We will catch you on the other side. Peace.